The night was quiet except for the rhythmic hum of the baby monitor on the nightstand. The soft glow from the hallway light barely illuminated the nursery, casting shadows across the walls. In the crib, tiny fingers twitched in sleep, a peaceful expression resting on Samuel's chubby little face. Beside the crib, curled up on the floor like a loyal guardian, lay Rex, his large frame still, except for the slow rise and fall of his chest. From the moment Rex laid eyes on Samuel, something changed. The big German Shepherd had always been affectionate, but this was different. He didn't just wag his tail and move on. He watched, he studied, he protected. It was as if he had been waiting his whole life for this moment. Before Samuel was born, Rex had been the center of James and Laura's world. They had adopted him when he was just a scruffy, overgrown puppy, not knowing he would grow into such a gentle giant. He was goofy, full of energy, and fiercely loyal. For 6 years, he had been their baby. They took him on road trips, fed him special treats, let him sleep at the foot of their bed. He was the child they had before they had a child. When they found out Laura was expecting Samuel, a quiet fear crept into her heart. What if Rex didn't adjust? What if he got jealous? What if, despite his sweet nature, he felt replaced? Everyone told them to be cautious. Dogs can be unpredictable with babies, they warned. Laura read stories online, watched videos, learned all the right ways to introduce them. But no amount of preparation could have reassured her the way that first meeting did. The day Samuel came home from the hospital, Rex was waiting at the door. His ears perked up, tail wagging in slow anticipation, sensing something was different. As soon as James set the carrier down, Rex moved forward with careful steps. Laura held her breath. He sniffed the air, then leaned in closer, his big wet nose just inches from Samuel's tiny face. 1 breath, 2 breaths. And then, he licked his forehead ever so gently and let out a deep sigh, settling down beside him. That was it. In that moment, they knew. Rex had just adopted his baby. From that day forward, they were inseparable. It didn't matter where Samuel was. Rex was never far behind. Whether it was tummy time on the living room floor, naps in the bassinet, or diaper changes in the nursery, Rex was always watching. He quickly became Samuel's silent protector, always positioning himself between the baby and anything he deemed a possible threat, even if that threat was just a vacuum cleaner or a noisy delivery truck outside. By the time Samuel started crawling, Rex had fully taken on the role of big brother. Samuel would giggle wildly, pulling on his ears, trying to climb onto his back like a little adventurer. And Rex took it all with endless patience. He never growled, never pulled away. Instead, he'd nuzzle the little boy gently, nudging him up when he wobbled, letting him grab fistfuls of his fur for balance. Then came the day Samuel took his first steps. Laura and James had been trying to encourage him for weeks, holding out their hands, cheering him on. But he was hesitant, always dropping to his knees at the last second. That afternoon, Samuel was gripping the edge of the coffee table, eyes locked on his best friend sitting a few feet away. Rex lowered his head, his warm brown eyes full of encouragement. In that moment, Samuel understood. He let go of the table, wobbled on unsteady legs, and took 1 step, then another, until he collapsed right into Rex's waiting paws. The bark of excitement, the wagging tail, the joyous laughter that filled the room was something Laura would never forget. Rex had given Samuel the courage to take his first steps. Their bond only grew stronger. They splashed together in the kiddie pool during summer, raced through the backyard on imaginary adventures, and built blanket forts in the living room. If Samuel dropped food from his high chair, Rex was there to clean up. If Rex got too dirty from rolling in the grass, Samuel insisted on giving him a bath, carefully wiping his fur with baby wipes, giggling as he did. But what made their friendship so incredible wasn't just the fun. It was the unspoken understanding between them. When Samuel cried, Rex would bring him his favorite stuffed animal. When he was sick, Rex curled up beside him, resting his head near his chest as if to comfort him. And at night, When the house grew quiet and shadows crept across the walls, Rex would take his place beside Samuel's crib, standing guard against the unknown. People always say that dogs are loyal, but until someone sees it, really sees it, it's hard to understand the depth of that loyalty. It's not just about fetching a stick or wagging a tail. It's about standing beside a loved one through every single moment, good or bad. It's about knowing, without words, what someone needs and giving it unconditionally. One winter night, when Samuel was around 3, a terrible storm rolled in. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows, shaking the trees. The power flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Samuel woke up screaming. Laura rushed into his room, heart pounding, expecting to find him standing in his crib, arms outstretched for her. But he wasn't. He was curled up on the floor, pressed against Rex, tiny fingers clinging to his fur. And Rex had wrapped his body around him, shielding him, his head resting gently across Samuel's back. That was the moment Laura realized. Samuel didn't just love Rex. He needed him. Years passed and their bond never wavered. Even as Samuel outgrew his baby blankets and stuffed animals, even as his tiny legs grew stronger and his world expanded beyond their backyard, Rex was always right there. Every scraped knee, every bedtime story, every adventure. They faced it together. No one knows what the future holds. One day, there will be a time when Samuel will have to say goodbye to his best friend. The thought alone breaks Laura's heart, but she also knows that the love Rex has given him, the security, the confidence, the unwavering friendship, that will stay with him forever. So many children grow up without that kind of love. So many animals sit in shelters waiting for a home, waiting for someone to take a chance on them. If this story touched anyone in any way, if there is belief in the kind of unbreakable bond that only a child and a dog can share, making a difference is possible. Whether it's adopting a shelter pet, donating to animal rescue organizations, or simply spreading awareness, every person can be a part of a story like this. Because every child deserves a best friend, and every dog deserves a home.